How's it going, guys? Balder here, and I am playing X-Plane 11. I am currently in the Piper Arrow, and I am at Salt Lake City International Airport. So today I want to do something a little bit more interesting than your usual run-of-the-mill Balder video. What I want to do is mountain flying. Now, for those of you who don't know what mountain flying is, I mean, aside from the obvious, well, you fly in a mountain or fly through a mountain, there is a huge difference in the fact that you have to plan. And not only do you have to plan, but you have to be careful, and you have to make sure that the weather is good enough to fly. Seeing that right now it is an overcast, this may not be the best day to go mountain flying, but you know what? That's not going to stop me. Remember, this is a simulator. Things happen. If there is a crash, well, there's a crash. At the very least, I am not hurt. But this is something I wouldn't attempt in real life, unless the weather was much better. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get everything set up. So, alternator on, battery on, fuel pump on, anti-collision lights on. There we go. Oh, yeah, I should probably richen the mixture a little bit. Alright, there we go. Cool, now that we got that, let's go ahead and get the props up. There we go. Alright, so a little bit about this airport, because as you can tell, this is a mod that I decided to get. I'll put a link in the description so that you can see it for yourself. But Salt Lake International is a two-sided airport, I should say. You have the center side or west side of the airport, which deals with all the air travel, all the commercial aviation, all the airline aviation. You have a bit of an area up north where you have all the cargo, and then you have the east ramp. The east ramp is pretty much where all the general aviation happens, and as you can no doubt tell, there are a lot of general aviation planes that go through here. So there are several FBOs, they all provide airplanes, there are quite a few hangars, there are quite a few garages. They all provide the availability for us to fly general aviation in a frankly very busy international airport. So, that's always good. But either way, let's go ahead, stop here, see where the windsock is. Windsock is blowing in that direction. Okay, so understood. But let's go ahead and get our avionics on. Alright, so I already put the flight plan in. But we are going to go from Salt Lake to Morgan County Airport, which is in the mountains. Now, this airport, Morgan County, is not going to be a straight line, even though the GPS indicates otherwise. We are actually going to go a little bit past Hill Air Force Base, which is north of Salt Lake City, and then we are going to go and cross through a canyon. I forgot the name of the canyon. Can't remember for the life of me. But you go through that canyon, and then it's a straight shot into Morgan County. Alright, now that we got that, I am not going to test the magnetos. However, it is worth noting that the left fuel tank is a little bit low, so I'm going to switch to the right fuel tank. That should get me to Morgan County without a problem. Alright, now that we got that, I understand. It's kind of a small run-up. Also, I have the pitot heat on just in case we experience any icing conditions, which I'm pretty sure we will. Alright, there we go. So, unlike most single-engine piston planes, this one has a retractable landing gear, which I am going to retract right about now. So, there is a reason why you will generally see general aviation aircraft retract the landing gear a lot later than you would see a jet retract the landing gear, and that all has to do with how much runway you have. See, you're only supposed to retract the landing gear once you run out of usable runway. The thing about it is that with any jets, to be honest, you are going to hit V1, which is the decision altitude, before you ever hit rotate. So the moment you rotate, I know. Thank you for the marker indication. But the moment that you hit the, let's see. The moment that you start rotating on a jet, you've already run out of usable runway. So, that means that you have to retract the landing gear soon after, once you can verify that you have a positive rate of climb. On a single-engine prop plane, you retract the landing gear when you have a positive rate of climb and there's no more usable runway. In fact, if you remember, there was this crash in Mexico involving an Embraer. It took off, it gained some altitude, and then went back down. You'll actually notice that the pilots kept the landing gear up. That's because they did not have a positive rate of climb. And that alone pretty much saved everyone on board. So now that we got that out of the way, we don't need the fuel pumps, we don't need the landing lights. Perfect. Now, since I want to keep this as VFR as possible, I'm going to try my best to stay out of the clouds. As you can tell, visibility isn't really stellar today, but at the very least, I can see things. This can constitute as VFR, however, it is definitely a terrible condition to fly through mountains. Of course, this being a simulator, whatever. You also notice that this thing has a ton of speed. Without that landing gear in the way, it is a really nice plane. I hope that if I ever get my own personal plane, that it has a retractable landing gear. Yes, those things are more expensive, way more expensive, but they're so much better. I mean, I probably have high hopes because I'm probably not going to be a millionaire, but you never know. Hey, give me more YouTube subscribers. Get me up to 10 million, and I could get my own little plane. Alright, so the cloud caps are pretty low. And we're about to hit IFR conditions, so... I would most definitely, avoid that. I also think I should probably change the angle of the propeller blades. Make sure that everything's good. Currently, we are over the Great Salt Lake, which is going to be nice and cold and wet and rainy around this time of year. There we go. I just need to remind myself that I need to put the RPMs back once I start landing. And now we have rain, and now we are in VFR or IFR conditions. Okay. What's that sound? What's a carb heat? Because I think that's exactly what happened. We have icing in the, Where the fuck is a carb heat? Well, I do not like the sound that the engine is making, however, considering that we haven't lost a lot of horsepower, I think we'll be good. The only thing is that, and I failed to realize this, does this plane even have a carburetor? I'm not too sure. But either way, things are a little bit bumpier, as you can tell. Conditions aren't that great. We have clouds under 7,000 feet above sea level. But we are getting close to the canyon. Now, interestingly enough, we would have a transition through Hill Air Force Base, which is over there. However, considering that we don't really have any communications, we're going to straight shoot it through this canyon. Even though the runway is going to be... We're going to be flying through the Air Force Base's glide slope, so just letting you know. Not the safest place to be. Of course, this is one hell of a bumpy ride, now that I think about it. And there's Hill Air Force Base. Not exactly Morgan County, mind you, but we are getting closer to our wonderful mountain. But this is Morgan County. We're actually going to be getting into another valley here, which is going to be a valley different from our own. But once you go from valley to valley, another thing to take into consideration is that you are going to have very differing weather patterns, I should say. So once you go past these mountains, in fact, once you go into this canyon, the weather is going to change. And by the way, this is prime for any icing conditions. Luckily, I have the pitot heat on. I seem to be good with manifold pressure, RPMs, that fun jazz. Everything seems good so far. I'm going to probably distance myself away from this part of the mountain. You'll also notice that I am not going to go anywhere inside the clouds because the clouds are shrouding some of the mountain. Or as some others would like to call it, cumulogranite. But either way, I'm going to fly through this canyon. It's a straight shot into Morgan County, which is a pretty mountainous community. A lot of ranchers, people like that. But here we are. We are through the mountains, and I have to admit that although things are gray and ugly, and this is all computer generated, this is beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous view, if you ask me. Of course, while I would never attempt this type of flight in these type of conditions, I would love to someday fly this route to go through the canyons and get to Morgan County. It's obviously not the safest journey, but it's something I would love to do. Alright, so we're going to go into 42U, or as everyone else calls it, Morgan County Airport. I'm going to try to straight shot into it. It wants me to lower the landing gear. Unfortunately, I do not negotiate with terrorists. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, all that is good. Let's go ahead and add a notch of flaps. Have some altitude, add another notch of flaps. And holy crap, this is going to be a bumpy, bumpy, bumpy ride. But the airport is right there. So I'm going to wait for it. Actually, no, I'm going to add the last notch of flaps here. Now, hopefully this thing is going to be aligned perfectly. I won't have any problems. But I also noticed that when it comes to props with retractable landing gears, the landing speed is a lot faster than on a fixed gear prop. Okay. We have a huge, 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 huge crosswind. Like a massive, holy shit, crosswind. Oh, crap. Well then. Let's just say that This is why you don't fly in very hazardous conditions. I'm surprised I made it on the runway, but hey. Welcome to Morgan County. I'm gonna have to try that landing again. I keep forgetting. Can I actually final approach on the in the sim? I think I can. So let's see if I can do that. Okay. After about 5 or 7 tries, I managed to make it to Morgan County Airport. That was kind of crazy. But there is kind of a moral of the story. Don't fly in the mountains unless the weather's very nice. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed, and as always, you have a good one. Also, I might want to keep the RPMs up.